Hey guys, Noah Polipsky with Peaceful Golf coming to you from the Bronx, New York today at a course called Pelham Split Rock. It's actually 36 holes, designed in 1936 by John Van Kleek. These two golf courses are phenomenal public offerings in the New York City area. And today I'm going to take you out. I'm going to show you the clubhouse, the inside, and Split Rock. We'll save Pelham for another time. Please subscribe to my channel. I need all the help I can get. And also take a look at my Patreon. I could use some help making more of these videos, and anything does help, so I appreciate it. Thumbs up and thanks. Peace.
The clubhouse, which opened in 1936, is a contemporary interpretation of the Greek Revival design. Inside you will find two murals painted by the American artist Alan Sahlberg. In an attempt to pull ourselves out of the Great Depression, the project of building the clubhouse and the Split Rock golf course, along with the renovation of the existing course Pelham, the government granted $3.5 million in funding, of which $2.8 million would go to the 3,800 laborers who helped build the course. John Van Kleek was hired to design and oversee the construction of the golf courses. On a visit to New York, the Grand Slam of Golf winner Bobby Jones visited the site and commented, "I must admit that what I saw, particularly at Split Rock, was exceedingly gratifying and entirely worth the visit. The work that John R. Van Kleek, supervising architect for the Parks Department in charge of golf courses, has done architecturally is splendid, and I want to commend him very highly." This is pretty high praise from the greatest golfer of his time. John Van Kleek was convinced that with careful planning and adequate maintenance, a municipal golf course could measure up to private clubs both in interest and in condition, despite the high proportion of beginners among its players and the intensive use it receives. Let's head out to the first of two courses, Split Rock, so I can show you why a visit to the Bronx will be well worth your time when visiting the New York City area. The first hole is a long par 4 playing uphill some 430 yards, a stern hole to start the round. The second, a gentle dogleg right, is a blind drive off the tee. It's the green that is the real challenge on this hole, with the green gently lifted off the surrounding ground, flanked by two deep bunkers on both sides. The drive off 3 gives you a bunker down the right as a great aiming point, but not reachable by most mortals. Kleek used camouflage and visual deception beautifully throughout the design. A great example of his visual deception is present here on the fourth. The bunker in front of the green seems close to the edge of the green, but in fact it's some 20 yards short of the putting surface. Here on the fifth, a well-placed drive will leave most golfers a chance at going for the green in 2 on this short par 5. It's the second shot, however, that must be struck perfectly and find the surface, or a delicate pitch from below the green on the right will be your fate. The difficulty of this shot cannot be understated. I have seen countless players get near the green in 2, only to see them walk away with par more times than not. Playing over 200 yards uphill, this stout par 3 is the first of 3 holes that will ruin most golfers' scorecards if their game is not firing on all cylinders. The seventh is another hole where the Van Kleek design really shines. A bunker on the left, again, is out of reach for all golfers and actually is a great aiming point, as it leaves the golfer the best angle to a double plateau green. A truly great feature on this hole is that the fairway sits some 15 feet below the green, meaning no matter how far you hit your tee shot, the approach will leave you only able to see the flagstick, but none of the green. Once again, Kleek is visually challenging you with the fear of the unknown. Quite possibly the hardest par 4 you will ever play. The 8th is a masterclass in design. If you take driver off the tee, you'd better hit a strong draw or you'll find the woods straight ahead. The hole is a dogleg left and the fairway has a severe downslope at 240 yards off the tee, which pushes all shots right into the rough. Therefore, the smart play is to hit a 210 to 230 yard shot that will leave you 200 or more into a small, raised up volcano type green. Oh, and if you don't hit the shot perfectly, you bring a small water hazard into play, just short of the green. Here on the 9th, a good drive will leave you a chance at birdie. Just be aware the green has 2 tiers. Unlike most 2-tiered greens, the split in the center is from the left to right, not front to back. Not something you see every day. The 10th tee shot runs parallel to the first and heads uphill to the highest point of the course. Accuracy over length is a premium here, as the fairway is the tightest in the course, with trees on both sides.
All right, so we're here at the 11th hole, one of my favorites on the course. As you can see, one of the things that I'd love to see changed here is that unfortunately over all these years, the trees have grown in. You can see down there that all the trees and the tall grasses have grown in. Those need to be taken down. And this whole section right here, all these trees on the right should be taken down. So you can see the green, you can see the 17th hole, open up this whole vista. That would be a really beautiful change to this golf course that I believe this is how it was back in the day. But as you can see out there at about 320 yards is the Great Hazard. It goes all the way across the entire fairway. It's a unique feature that you only see in a few golf courses around the world. And here we are at Split Rock in the Bronx, and they have one. So it's pretty cool. So let's take a look at this hole as well. Okay, so as you can see, I'm a little short of the Great Hazard. Got 140 yards left just in the rough, and we got this amazing sloping green. So let's see if we can get this up and down. So here we are on the 11th hole, just underneath the hole, a nice little 15, 12 footer maybe. But look at this green. Look at the slopes within this green, the big mounds and humps that offset this thing. I mean, that's a pretty benign pin position. You get it back there on the back left, it's pretty hairy to get over these humps. Well, let's see if we can get out of here with a nice birdie.
Here on the 12th, Van Kleek uses the bunker in front to deceive the golfer into thinking it's near the green, but once again, he leaves the bunker some 30 yards short.
All right, so here we are in the 13th fairway. It's a great par 5, but there's a big problem with this par 5. When they put the cart paths in, which remember in 1936 there were no cart paths, they put the cart path down the right side because most people hit the ball down the right, so that's where they want to put the cart paths. And what they did was they choked the fairway. They made the fairway so much smaller because now, because you hit it right, you're probably going to hit the cart path, and it's going to make the ball go everywhere. So they made the hole essentially just too narrow. If anything, the cart path should have been down the left-hand side along the highway, all the way down to the hole and around to the back. And I'll show you why when we get to the green, but it would have made so much more sense. You also, this bunker really isn't in play because you hit the cart path, it bounces you out. It just makes the hole just too narrow on a par 5 where you want to try to let the big dog eat, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, let me show you this great hole. The layup on this hole is so challenging. It's such a great underrated hole on this golf course, but I'll show it to you now. Take a look. Peace. So what makes this hole so great, this is a short par 5, very reachable in 2. You'll have a downhill shot in the fairway for your second shot, but you can still get there if you wanted to. But if you decide to lay up, let's say your drive isn't that great, you come to this fairway in the center here that is like the most strange layup hole. It's perfect. It's so great. So unless you land in the dead center of this fairway, which is only maybe 10, 15 yards wide, you're going to have a shot that's going to roll down the hill. So you're going to have this awkward stance on this mogul. Now let's say you hit it to the right. Same kind of thing, right? Look at your ball's just going to roll down this little hill over there. It's not going to stay on a flat lie. And that happens all the way down this fairway. You see that ripple and a ripple coming back. So it's a very difficult layup hole if you choose to lay up on this short par 5. But what else is great? When you try to go for it in 2, just over that hump is a small little creek. So you have to carry the creek if you're going to go for it in 2. So no way around are you going to get away from this hole without having some challenge to face, whether it be a long shot in, a 3-iron, 3-wood, 4-iron, or a short wedge in on a side hill stance. That's the mark of a great par 5. Not to mention you're surrounded by 2 great bunkers. You have to carry it all the way there. It's a little volcanoed up. It's just a phenomenal golf hole. It's very underrated, not utilized enough. The design is not studied enough. Another great feature of this 13th hole is it feeds right into the 14th tee. That's another prominent feature you see in a lot of private golf clubs from that era back in the 30s, 20s, and 30s, is you had to have a connecting from the green to the tee had to be very close because you were walking, there were no golf carts.
The 14th is what I would call a connector hole, a hole that is lacking in quality land, but just gets us to the more interesting parts of the property. And lucky for us, the best is yet to come.
Here on the 15th hole, we're in the middle of the fairway. This is a great short par 4. As you can see, the green's right there. I'm 120 yards out, but I had to lay up because you really should be able to drive it. It's only like 320, 330. The problem is the trees, if you turn around and you take a look at this, the trees create like a cavern in there. They're so overgrown that you can't hit a driver. It's too tight. It's just way too tight. So you try and just poke a shot out here. It'd be great to open that up and also take down all of these trees right here. All this fescue should just be grown in and there should be no trees here. And then you'd have this beautiful hole that guys would be trying to go for it in 1. And if not, they'd be in the fescue and having a tricky shot out of there. It would change the whole dynamic of the hole. So again, these trees aren't 100 years old. These trees would be all gone back in 1936, and this design would shine if they made these small improvements. All right, let's get back to the course. All right, so I just hit a great shot here on 15, right on top of the little mound. I'm going to show you guys how small that area is and what a cool green this is, and how that mound right in the middle creates such havoc on certain pin locations. So when the pin is in this location, it creates a really wild scenario. And I just got really lucky. I hit it right at the top of the mound and got a great shot here. But normally, that's probably the hardest pin on this hole. And just anywhere around, I mean, just imagine if the pin was in the front and you hit it to the back. You'd have to cut over this hump. So it's just a phenomenal green on a short par 4. stretch here at Split Rock is amazing. 16, 17, 18, just par 3, 4, 4. What a finish. Wait till you see the greens and the different shots you have to hit. Here we are on the 17th hole at Split Rock, and this is one of the greatest greens on the course. Now that's a really challenging pin, because if you get this ball past that pin just a little bit, look at these giant humps that are on this green. There's 3 big mounds all over this green. Now imagine trying to putt that putt back over that hill to get it close. Still rolling. And these are public greens. This green is just such a great hole on a 450-yard par 4 that has a nice slope coming into it, so which means you can release the ball back in the fairway, maybe 20 yards even, if you come at the right angle, and just release and feed right onto the green. So even for the short hitter, it allows him a chance to get on this really long par 4. Most designers don't think like that. They just don't see that type of, what's the word I'm looking for, ingenuity in the design that allows everyone to participate in a really great hole.
The 18th is a great finishing hole that requires a gentle fade to a narrow fairway. If you get your timing right, you may just have one of the many daily trains passing by the 18th. A fun sight indeed. The approach is to a 3-tiered green, with the middle tier being the higher of the 3 tiers, another unique feature not seen on most courses. The Split Rock golf course is a design that is deserving of full restoration and definitely worthy of your time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you hidden gems from around the world. And remember, peaceful golf is not just a game, it's a way of life.